I translated 3 Inazuma 11 games from Japanese to Chinese. I'm the captain of China of the game Inazuma 11 Go Strikers 2013, and also the project leader for the Chinese translation group for 3 games on 3DS, Inazuma 11 Go 1, Go 2, and Go 3. I started doing all of these since 2020, so basically I've been doing this for 4 years. And I started with Go 2 and Go 3, and now I'm working on Go 1. So let's just talk about everything in this video. I think this video is probably going to be a little bit long, but I don't care, because we did have a lot of things going on in the past 4 years, and I do want to talk about all of them. So first of all, I want to talk about Go 2, which is something that we did first. So back to the time, I think it was 2021. We basically didn't know everything about how to translate a game, especially a game on 3DS. We don't know how to do stuff. We don't have any software. We don't have any people that can support our work. Until one day, a guy who came to me and brought all the stuff to me, and he said, I'm just gonna do all this technology for you guys, and all you guys need to do for me is to translate all the Japanese text and also, photoshopping all the images that have Japanese characters on them. So I was like, yeah, that's something great. Yeah, let's do it, because we have the enthusiasm to basically, translate a million words from Japanese to Chinese. We don't care. We have time, and we want to do that. So that's how we started. So at the beginning, we didn't really care about, anything regarding to the technology of manipulating a game file, or the font and everything, how to extract and import all the stuff. We don't have to worry about those things. All we have to do is to translate stuff. So I got some great people with me, and I think they're all hardworking people. We all know some Japanese. I think I probably knew the best Japanese among them. Inazuma 11 is like a kid-based game. They speak easy Japanese. You don't have to be a Japanese expert to be able to understand all the text inside of the game. So you just have to spend a lot of time on it. Yeah, that's the only concern, which is spending a lot of time. So what I did is to use the time, I would say like around 50% to 80% of the time when I'm not working or playing video games on this project. So so due to everybody's hard work, we managed to get it done within 1 year. And that was not a perfect work for us, because that's the first time we tried to actually translate the game. So we learned a lot of things, and we experienced a lot of things, and we gained a lot of confidence to say that we can make our next work much better. And actually we did. So in the time Go 3, the guy who came to us at the beginning said he was not able to support us anymore due to his real life stuff. He might be just busy at working, I don't know. There's some reasons that he didn't tell us exactly, so we have to start the project on our own. And I, as the project leader, had to get the files ready. We have to get a position to start. So that's where Mirozaki came to me. Mirozaki is a good guy. He is probably the German translation team leader, which is probably the owner of the Inazuma 11 server Ragnarok. He gave me a lot of help. He told us how to actually crack the file and export everything from a game file, and also how to edit the font, because font is actually a very big part of the problem. So the difference between Chinese and other languages is that probably like for example English, or any languages that use alphabet or a character chart like Korean or Japanese, they have limited characters in their daily use. Well, Japanese is probably not a great example, but for Koreans, for English, for those European languages, you guys have limited characters. Like for English, there's like 26 of them. For Japanese, there's like somewhere around 100 of them. For Korean, I have certainly no idea, but I think there's a limited number of them. But for Chinese, every single character we use in daily conversation is basically different. Our language is not made by alphabet, so we have like somewhere around 3,000 to like 6,000 commonly used characters that we have to figure out a way to get them all inside of a game. So that's basically something that struggled us the most. I think we got one guy whose name is Ikigio. He's also the Inazuma 11 Strikers player in the first year. Inazuma China was built. He's not playing this game anymore, but he did help us a lot, because the way that we edit the font is actually pretty simple, but it takes a lot of work. So for example, the Go Galaxy has a big font. I think it has like thousands of characters inside, but just the game doesn't use them all. I just don't know why they have so many characters that are unused, but it actually helped us a lot, because there's so many characters, so that we can actually change some of them so that we can use more. So for example, here's a character from the font file, and neither you nor I know what this means. So what we do with these characters is that we use Photoshop because the font is actually made of 3 layers of PNG pictures, so we can actually manually Photoshop them. So we just erase the characters that we will never use and Photoshop it to the characters that we will potentially use in Chinese language. So we Photoshop like 3,000 characters, and we memorize all the characters mapping, like and make a table to record what those characters are before they are changed. So we got a table. So for example, Matsukaze Tenma, the character for Tenma's name, the second character for Tenma's name, it's called horse. So basically simplified Chinese and Japanese use different characters for horse. We can read them, but they are differently in computer. So we photoshopped the Japanese horse and replaced it with the Chinese horse. But in the text file, we have to keep the old Japanese horse to make sure that the game knows which characters it wants to put in a game. And we repeated this for more than 3,000 times and make a complete mapping table, and this takes the most of the time for Go 3. And that was our first trial ever, I think probably ever, because none of us had worked on any project like this before. I'm just very proud of my team that they just did this amazing work. Without their work, this won't be achieved, and we won't got Go 3 fully translated as well. And there's some funny story behind it. So a lot of you guys probably didn't know this, that the Go 3, the Chinese version of Go 3, was not published in the community. I think most of the reason is because of me. This decision is made by me, 100%. And the reason behind it is that people in China are weird. They would like to sell other people's work for money on website, and that actually happened back to the timing when we finished Go 2. There's a Chinese version of Amazon, and we just turned it on, and we found out that people were actually selling game files for the Chinese version of Go 2. And that pissed everybody off, and I was the one who stand up and say, we're not going to publish our work anymore. If you want it, beat me in Striker. That's literally what I said, and you guys probably know that I'm the best Inazuma 11 Strikers players in China, so this is not achieved by a single person in the past 2 years. So I would have to let the people pay for the price. Yeah, and that's basically the story behind Go 3 and Go 2, and now I'm working on Go 1, and there's also something that happened at the beginning when we started. As I talked about, the font is probably the biggest part of the problem if we have to do all of these stuff ourselves without other people's help. So at the beginning, we encountered a huge problem on Go 1's font, and that problem is just simply not fixable if you don't go to contact, some of the open source software creators. So what we did for Go 3 is that we used a tool called Level 5 Font Editor, and that's made by this person. I think his name is One Piece Freak. And we found out that his tool doesn't really support the font for Go 1, and we had no idea why, because they're all made by Level 5. I even contacted the person who helped us in Go 2, like back to 3 years ago, and he did take some time and try to work on it, and he said, no, I can't open this file. And so we were basically stuck for months, since 0 characters can be shown correctly inside of the games. So what's the need of translating this game since all the characters cannot be correctly shown? So that was a severe, and what I did is to go to GitHub and check the author of this tool's homepage. He didn't leave any way to contact him, so I just found his partner, and there's a Discord server, and I went to the Discord server and found this exact person and DM'd him. But surprisingly, he replied very quickly. He actually replied very quickly, probably because he was touched by the work that I showed him. So he helped us to solve the font problem, and we spent like around a week to eventually get through the font problem in Go 1, and we eventually were able to start working on Go 1. And now I think the text part is probably around 50% or 60% finished. There are still some NPC files that are left untouched, but I think most of the scenario texts are actually finished. And the images were more than 60% done for sure, because I was in charge of basically everything. I know the progress of our project. So yeah, I will inform you guys for a little bit more after we finish Go 1 actually. So we gotta put a lot of time in finishing all the text translation and debugging after we get the mod ready. So if you're interested in this video or you want to know something more, please just leave a comment, and I'll see you guys after we finish this.